Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions, welcoming you to another Modern Warfare 3 gameplay commentary. Here I am in the map Resistance using the MG36 light machine gun. This gameplay is part of the Quack Clan Revival Tour coming to a Team Deathmatch server near you. And as always, this gameplay brought to you over some rockin' metal music, so be sure to hit the like button or maybe even a favorite button if you are enjoying the new intros and outros. And as we fade out the music, I want to continue on a line of thinking that I introduced in a video a few days back entitled "We Owe Developers Nothing," or it was just "Owe Developers Nothing," because I wanted to drive home the idea that we as consumers, as players of video games, and speaking here specifically or more in general about AAA shooter titles, AAA titles, not necessarily just shooters, but just titles that are huge video game releases. All right, not the indie games, not free-to-play games or anything like that, but AAA titles like Call of Duty, Halo, Battlefield, and the EA and the subsequent short little spin-offs, or smaller but still AAA sized spin-offs, like the whatever Respawn Entertainment is working on. That will be a AAA shooter from EA, as well as Medal of Honor is definitely trying to be a AAA shooter. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. And of course, if you want to talk about different genres, you've got something like Skyrim is a AAA title, as well as Madden, I guess you could throw in there year in and year out. But that's just to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about here. But my idea is this, and I'm really sick of seeing this from people in the community, whether they be viewers or whether they be YouTubers. We owe developers nothing. We owe them nothing. These guys are professionals. They are professionals, okay? They are not our buddies. They are not our friends. They are not, some guy that we know that's like, hey, I did this. Can you check it out and give me some nice constructive feedback and be positive and not be an asshole? And, that is not what these developers are. They are paid, salaried, and bonused professionals, and we owe them nothing. We owe them not a single courtesy, not a single ounce of empathy, or anything like that. We owe them nothing. I just watched Pwn Star for Hire's follow-up video to the video he did in which he called out the developers of Battlefield 3 for not fixing their game, for patching it once every 6 months, and then when the patch itself contains glitches, not promptly and expeditiously fixing those patches. And that was his original point. And I watched a video, and his follow-up video on that after talking to a developer from DICE, and he had completely backtracked on most of his points, and he had reverted back to not the, hey, this is bullshit, let's get on DICE, we want this fixed now, we are responsible for their game generating $1 billion in revenue, or close to $1 billion in revenue. Again, it's not as big as Call of Duty, but it's still a pretty damn big title that made a lot of money. And we are responsible for that, and we want it fixed now. He had moved completely away from that. And he was going back to the whole licking the ass of the developers and saying, oh, well, it was rude for us to spam them and stuff like. No, there is no being rude. There is no being rude with developers. It is just interacting with them and getting our money's worth and getting what we are owed and deserved from these people, because they are paid professionals. They are not just some random employees that we're just harping on or picking on unfairly. The developers, the coders, the community managers, all of these people that we are talking to are making a lot of money, and they are professionals. Well, first of all, they are professionals, and second of all, they are making a lot of money. And I think that's the point of this video, because I think that's something that people really tend to forget, is that these people that we're talking to. Here we're talking about guys like, they're gone from their respective companies right now, but Robert Bowling, JD 2020, and all the guys over at EA DICE and the community managers and lead developers for DICE and Battlefield 3, David Vonderhaar, the lead developer for Treyarch. The thing that we forget, and I don't know if it's willfully forgetting or if people are just ignorant and stupid. And me being a cynic, I'm tending to think that people are just ignorant and stupid. But a lot of what we forget is that these guys are millionaires. A lot of these guys are millionaires. Robert Bowling is probably a millionaire. David Vonderhaar, again, probably a millionaire. JD 2020, again, he was more of a community manager. Probably wasn't pulling down the paychecks of Robert Bowling and David Vonderhaar, so he's not a millionaire. But he's probably not. He's not hurting for money either, even after leaving Treyarch. He's probably got a good amount of money, because a lot of the things that people don't understand is that these guys get paid not only for their work, but they also get a cut of the money the game brings in. They get a cut of that money. They are entitled to royalties, assuming again, that depends on the specific language of their contract with the publisher. But more often than not, they are getting money from sales of the game on top of the work that they put into producing the game in the first place. So they're making money hand over fist, quite literally, with these AAA titles, especially the AAA titles that sell a lot of copies and generate billions of dollars in revenue, a la Call of Duty and Battlefield 3. Okay, so we do not. These guys can cry themselves to the bank. If you're one of those people that says, "Oh, you got to be nice to them. You can't be rude to them." You know what? They could cry themselves all the way to the bank, because a lot of them are millionaires or probably close to it. They are probably pulling down hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, not tens of thousands of dollars a year. They're not working for minimum wage. They're not worried about making their next house payment, unless they have just they really want to live above their means, but they're probably not hurting to make their next house payment. They're not worried about putting money away for college or for their children. They're not worried about taking vacations or anything like that, because they are making a hell of a lot of money. Think of it this way. The exodus that we saw with Infinity Ward right after the release of Modern Warfare 2 was Jason West and Vince Zampella were the two heads of Infinity Ward that decided to leave after Activision said, "We are not going to pay you royalties for Modern Warfare 2." Or maybe it was, I believe it was Modern Warfare 2 was the royalty dispute. Do you know how much that royalty payment was? Do you know how much? It was in the millions of dollars. Jason West and Vince Zampella were standing to make millions of dollars from a single royalty payment for their work on Call of Duty on the Modern Warfare series, and Activision withheld that payment. And they sued because they missed out on their royalty payment worth millions of dollars. These guys are professionals. They are, in most cases, or in a lot of cases, they are millionaires. We owe them nothing. Let us stop with the whole, we have to treat them like they're the Pope. We cannot question them. We cannot prod them. We cannot demand things from them. We are the consumers, and what's more, we are the reason that they are pulling down 6- and 7-figure salaries and bonuses. But anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Likes and favorites do help me out, and I would appreciate it to help get this stigma out there, because it is quite honestly sickening just to see this from people. We owe these people nothing. Let's start changing this mantra that's in the community. Let's start changing this about the way we interact as a community and as a large group with the developers of the games that we buy and make, and the salaries that we generate with our buying of these titles. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I am out.